Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fisayo. I'm an international student studying in the United States. If you're new here, hi, welcome. You should absolutely subscribe. You should absolutely subscribe to my channel and hit like on this video while we proceed. So today I'm going to be talking about how to excel in your internship. I'm going to be giving you 10 tips on how to excel in your internship and ultimately land a return offer. If you're watching this, you probably have started your internship or you plan to start an internship sometime in the summer or later this year or next year, anytime, or you're interested in knowing how to do well and put your best foot forward on the internship and you're in the right place. So just take a seat, grab your notepad, and definitely keep watching. Now, the first thing for you to do is to identify who your manager is. That is the person who is going to be responsible for the outcome of your internship. Identify your manager. Know who this person is. It is very important. Then ask them for clear expectations on the job. What are your key objectives? How do they define, or how would they define a successful internship? Have this conversation with them right from the beginning of your internship. This is for you to set your expectations clear, set your objectives clear, and know what you're going to be doing in the course of your internship. It is extremely important that you know who is responsible for the outcome of your internship, and it will help you to define your own KPIs as well as reducing any form of guesswork on the job. Your first meeting with your manager might most likely be an informal meeting where the person is just trying to get to know you and you're also trying to get to know them as well, which is totally fine. But you should take that conversation further ahead by asking them for what they expect of you on the job. Let them clearly articulate to you what your objectives are, what their expectations of you are. Make sure you are taking notes so that you confirm your understanding of everything that has been said. It will also help for you to set a time frame on that call, right? For everything, well, maybe not everything, but if you can just put in buckets the things that they have said and try to map out a time frame, you need to be able to achieve those things. It will really help you a great deal in clarifying and breaking down the terms of your work. The second thing is for you to set your personal and professional goals. Now, your professional goals are essentially from the KPIs that your manager has told you. But how about your own personal goals? What are the things that you intend to achieve on the internship? For my internship, I had a goal to write a certification exam, to connect with at least 50 staff members, to spearhead a student social event, to connect with at least 20 other MBAs like myself, to secure a return offer, things like that. By the way, not everyone is keen on securing a full-time offer. Some people realize along the way that this role is not a perfect fit for them, and so they just wing it. But as an international student, I'll strongly advise that regardless of how you're feeling about the role or about the job, still try, to get that return offer. After you get it, in your second year, you can still go ahead to recruit as far as you have not accepted the offer. Now, typically when they give you the offer after your internship, you have like a couple of months for you to make up your mind and decide if you want to go with them or not. Within that space of time, you can do your own research, check out other industries, check out other roles that might be of interest to you, and then apply to them. It helps a lot because you can even use this internship offer to negotiate a higher salary on your full-time job. Now, the reason why you're setting your personal and professional goals is just so that the internship is not just another internship. It is an avenue where you are working on your skills, working on your own self, and ensuring that you are having the best experience. The third thing on my list for you is to work with a to-do list. Now you can decide to do this daily or weekly, however way that fits you or suits your schedule. Make sure you still work with a to-do list. Now this is important because during your internship, you'll find that so many things, so many events just come and take your time. So many meetings, especially if your internship is going to be remote, you might probably have a day like 8 to 5 and find out that in those 8 hours or 9 hours, you probably spent like 6 hours in meetings and had barely 2 hours to even do the actual work. Now, you want to start your day with itemizing the things that you have to do, blocking time on your calendar for the work that you have to do, and not just allowing anything or anyone to take your time. Because you're an intern, it's very likely that people will want to drag you into meetings. It's also very likely that you would think you have so much time and you just want to keep connecting with people and keep meeting with people without actually sitting down to do your own work. But if you plan correctly, if you write down the things that you have to do, if you set your own goals based on your professional goals like your KPIs and based on your personal goals, then you'll be able to properly allocate your time the right way. The truth is, you never really know how much time you spend on activities until you track it. So I challenge you to take ownership of your time today and track your activities. Moving on, the fourth point on my list is be visible. Like, do you all see me? Do you all see me? Yes. See, like the way you're seeing me, let everyone see you. Physically and spiritually. Did I just say that? Scratch that. But be visible. At your workplace, be visible. Make sure that your presence is felt. Everywhere that you are in, every meeting that you are at, make sure you're contributing positively to the meeting or the event. It's a huge thing, and many people actually look down on visibility. They don't know how much it helps to be out there. Now, I'm not saying that you should always be speaking or you should always just say anything that comes to the top of your mind, but I'm saying that you should carefully look for opportunities where you can chime in and add valuable inputs, then speak up. Another way to be visible is to share your progress with not just your manager, but with your team. In team meetings, maybe you can have like get together weekly or every 2 weeks. Make sure you let them know what you're doing. Take opportunities to present your work. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be finished, but let them know that you are making progress. You are moving from one place to the other. And then the next time you meet with them again, show them what you have done. Show them the difference between what you showed them previously and what you're currently showing them. That way, they know that you are working. They cannot deny your impact. They cannot deny your presence, okay? So make sure in everything you do during your internship, be visible. Number 5, schedule weekly meetings with your performance reviewer, which could be your manager or which ideally should be your manager in this case. Now, the essence of this performance reviews, you may not essentially start it when you start your internship. Maybe like 3 weeks into your internship, you can start doing those weekly meetings. The essence of this is for you to get feedback from your reviewer. You need to know if you are on track for receiving a return offer. You need to let them speak back to you on what they feel about your work. You need to hear them out. So you are doing a lot of talking, you are being visible, you are spearheading things and doing all of that. You need to give them avenues for them to also talk back to you and hear what they have to say about your work. So the MBA summer internship or any other internship is typically between 10 to 12 weeks. So you have at least like 9 meetings, at least. You should have at least 9 meetings with your manager just so that you are getting feedback from them and you're also using it to work on yourself, to improve on your job. Also use these meetings with your manager to request for their help or their counsel in who else you could be connecting with in the organization to make your work better or to improve the quality of your work. It helps when your manager puts in word for you or makes an introduction for you to somebody else. So take advantage of these meetings with your manager to request for feedback and to also get recommendations on people or tools that you could be using to make your work better. The 6th point on my list is for you to go the extra mile. Now, this does not mean that you should put in 20 hours in a day to work. Neither does this mean that you should spend your entire life at work. No, that's not what it means. It means that you are doing the little things that are visible and are adding additional touch to your work. For instance, if you've been given a project and you have clearly received the outline for the project, you know what your expectations are, you know what your objectives are, you could go ahead to speak with somebody else in another team who has done something similar. Ask them for ways that you could improve on your work, right? And implement those things in your project. No one will know where the idea came from. You can also ask other interns for what they are doing in their teams, just so that you could get ideas that will be the extra oomph. It works, trust me, it works. People at work want to see an intern who is proactive. People at work want to see an intern who is genuinely interested in the work. People at work want to see an intern that is curious and is using their curiosity to birth things. So make sure you are putting your mind into your work and you're dishing out all those little tiny extra icings on top of the cake. Now, my 7th point is for you to ask questions. Do not be afraid to ask questions. You are an intern. Nobody's expecting you to know everything about the organization. I mean, you only started working. Even if you've been working for 5 weeks, you're an intern. You're an intern. So you don't have all the answers. Do not be afraid to ask questions. But while I say that carefully, I would also want to add that one thing to do while asking questions is to first state your understanding of the matter at hand. Right? State your understanding and then ask a question. If it's something that requires that you could have done some background work, try to do that extra work and then come to them saying, oh, I found this. I'd like to ask about this on this matter, right? Or I was working on this and then I came across this. Do you mind providing clarity on this thing that I have come across, right? It shows that you are thinking. It shows that you're not just a lazy asker, if there's anything like that, right? It shows that you have actually done some background work and you want to clarify your understanding of work. People don't really like it when you just go to them and ask them a question that you could probably Google or something, right? As much as they want you to ask questions, they also want you to show your intelligence while asking those questions. So to recap, show what you have thought through, your approach, and then ask for their thoughts. It's a lot better than asking without doing your own background work. The 8th point on my list is networking. Absolutely, networking. Do not neglect the power of a coffee chat. You absolutely should be making those connections while doing your internship. The internship is not just about the work that you do. It's about the people you meet, whether you like it or you do not like it. It's about the people. So make sure you're networking vertically, horizontally, networking downwards, networking upwards, networking sideways. Just make sure you are networking and have a target. So for me, I decided that I wanted to network, or that means I wanted to meet with at least 50 people, 50 staff members. Now my internship was remote. It's different if you are working physically. You may get to meet more people or less people depending on what your office is like. But I had that target for myself, and then I broke it down in the number of weeks that it would take me to actually connect with those people. So that's an example of something. But make sure that you are making those connections, you are getting people to know you and to like you, because these people will turn out to be your advocates in the future, whether you like it or you do not like it. These people will also provide you resources for you to better your work. So it's always good for you to reach out to people, for you to identify people that are working in line with where you want to go in terms of your future aspirations or your interests, and then you connect with them. For instance, if you reach out to somebody who is on another team, what you ideally should be wanting to know is, what is their role like? What is a day in their life like? What are their responsibilities? Who are the people they report to? What are the KPIs on their job? What bottlenecks, right, have they noticed in their work? And from that, you can also even make recommendations or just give suggestions based on what they have said. That's a good way, and that's a good way to get to know people. And the truth is, many people like to talk about themselves. People like to talk about the work that they do. So definitely make those connections and have those conversations started. Your aim, aside getting to know these people and the roles that they are doing, is for you to be remembered, to be memorable, right? In doing this, you have to take notes. Absolutely do not go into any meeting blank. Have a notepad, have a pen, take notes when people are talking, nod in agreement, right? Just so that they can see that you are following them, especially if the conversation is happening on Zoom. After the conversation is done, make sure you summarize your understanding. Speak about some things that they have said and just, say it back to them, just so that they know that you were actively listening to them. My ninth point is for you to consistently request for feedback. Now, this is with your team or the people you are working with. But aside requesting for feedback, the most important thing for you to do is to actualize that feedback. Work on it, implement it, and make sure whoever gave you the feedback sees your progress, sees the things that you have changed based off of what they have said. It is extremely important that you not just take feedback, but you actually work on the feedback. This goes a long way in showing that you have a growth mindset, that you are teachable, and you are ready to work. Now, the 10th tip, which is the final tip, is for you to use your internship as a reflective period. Do not just be carried away with the fact that you're working and you are getting work done, you are meeting with people. Make sure you are also assessing yourself, assessing your career decisions, and checking that what you are doing is in line with what you want to do in the long term. Now, as much as I want you to get that return offer, I want you to do all it takes, right? I also do not want you to settle. If you find that during your internship, you're not very happy with the role, you're not happy with the team, or you're not happy with the organization, use the period of your internship to gauge your interest in the organization, to gauge your interest in the team, to assess if it's in line with what you want to do. It's extremely important because you are the prize. If you have come this far in your career, you are an asset to any organization that has you. So make sure that you are doing the best for yourself. You're making the best choices for yourself whilst having so many options or alternatives, right? But make sure you're putting yourself first and you're doing what is best for you and what's in line with your career goals and aspirations. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. Most importantly, please share on your social media platforms. Everywhere, share, let people see this, let people know. I wish you all the best in your internship, and I can't wait to hear good news from you. Drop a comment below, anything you learned, any points that stood out the most for you. I'll be waiting to see them and to connect with you. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.